Electroluminescent dash lighting. The gauges load with a cool... Okay, right now I'm going to talk about the, it's a 1965. That's what I was looking for, 1965 Chevy Corvette. Chevy dropped the small blocks for the 1966, actually, leaving a big new 427 with up to 425 horses as Corvette's ultimate 1966. Let's do 66 then. I already put in 65 though, but alright, so anyway, power option, it came with a domed hood. The $4,295 coupe was sold 9,958 copies this year, so that's how many cars were there. Okay, let's hear it from another perspective. We're going on a marathon. I hope you enjoy. Oh, absolutely. Let's talk about the legendary 1965 Chevy Corvette. This beauty is more than just a car, it's a rolling piece of American muscle car history. The 65 Vet was part of the second generation C2, affectionately known as the Stingray, and it was an absolute showstopper. Just picture it. That sleek, sculpted fiberglass body, hidden headlamps, and those aggressive side vents, it looked like it was breaking the sound barrier just sitting still. But it wasn't just about looks. Under the hood, you had serious firepower. 1965 was the first year Chevy offered the big block 396 V8, cranking out a jaw-dropping 425 horsepower. That engine turned the Corvette into a street-legal rocket ship. And for purists, the small block 327s were still available, offering a range of power options and that classic high-revving thrill. And let's not forget, 1965 was also the first year for four-wheel disc brakes, which meant this beast could stop as well as it could go. It was a true performance leap forward. Inside the cockpit was all business. Stow-how dash, bucket seats, and a three-spoke steering wheel that made you feel like a fighter pilot. Whether you were cruising down Route 66 or tearing up a track, the 65 Corvette made you feel like the king. Want to dive into the rear trims, color combos, or maybe the racing pedigree of this icon? I'm all in. Let's keep the engine grubbing. Yeah, so that's just a little bit of a let's talk about a little bit more. Let's see, what else? What are some of the features? I think what's really cool that I see on it, looks like that this is a 1966. I like the way the gas cap is. It looks like it's right in the center of the trunk. But what's really cool too is that the pipes they have two cutout pipes for the dual exhaust in the back. And I thought that's a pretty nice flex. You know what I mean? Let's keep it in the 60s real quick. Let's talk about the a 1966 Charger. Let's see what we got on that. Can you tell me some details on a 1966 Dodge Charger, please, enthusiastically? All right, so here we go. Here's some details on the 1966. I said Charger? Yeah, I meant Charger. I think I did say Charger. Yeah, good. Here we go. Buckle up, because the 1966 Dodge Charger was a thunderbolt of style and muscle that shocked the streets when it debuted. It was Dodge's bold entrance into the muscle car arena, a fastback beast with futuristic flair, raw V8 power, and a cockpit that looked like it belonged in a spaceship. Let's dive into the glorious details of this Mopar masterpiece. Whoa! 1966 Dodge Charger, the birth of a legend. Debut year, 1966 marked the very first production year of the Dodge Charger, introduced on New Year's Day. Body style, a sleek fastback coupe with a full-width grille and hidden headlights that flipped open like eyelid. Pure drama on wheels. Platform. Built on the Chrysler B-body. Shared with the Dodge Coronet, but with a radically different roof line and real styling. Okay, engine options. Mopar Muscle Madness. You had a buffet of V8s to choose from, all torque hungry and ready to roar. Engine, displacement, horsepower, 0 to 60 miles per hour. We went in 318 V8, 5.2 liter, 230 HP, around 10 sec. 361 V8, 5.9 liter, 265 HP, around 9 sec. 383 V8, 6.3 liter, 325 HP, around 7.2 sec. And 426 Hemi V8, 425 HP, scorching. The 426 Street Hemi was the crown jewel, a race-bright monster with dual four-barrel carbs and a reputation for melting tires and egos. Taking features ahead of its time. 4 individual bucket seats, front and rear, with a full-length center console. No bench seats here. This was a personal performance machine. Electroluminescent dash lighting. The gauges load with a cool green hue like something out of a sci-fi movie. Fold-down rear seats created a massive cargo area under the fastback. Practical and badass. Dimensions embrace. Length, 203.6 inches. Weight, around 3,500 pounds. Original price, around $3,120. A steal for a car that looked like it could outrun a jet. Why it mattered. The 1966 Charger wasn't just a car. It was Dodge throwing down the gauntlet in the muscle car wars. It combined luxury, innovation, and brute force in a way no one else had. It paved the way for the legendary Charger RTs and Daytona that followed. Want to hear how it stacked up against the Mustang or GCO? Or maybe dive into the rear Hemi production numbers? Let's keep the Mopar magic rolling.
All right, so, you heard it here first. I believe, 1966 Dodge Charger. Shout out to my dad. He had one. It was the one car that got away. We never got to fully restore it, but I tell you what, if and when I run into a whole lot of money, I'm definitely going to get this one. What I love about this car, I love everything about it. It has a sleek window that it's a massive window on the side. The back of it reminds me of the Batmobile. It's just so cool. The interior is just second to none. And like she said too, the lights, they had this flip thing on them where they flip down and it looks like it's a large grill. You can't really tell that the lights are there. So this car, it's pretty cool. You know what? I heard the motor. They just reminded me of one, which was the my brother. We're gonna stay with Dodge for a moment. I think it was a 69. I think it was a 69 Dodge Satellite. Can you give me the information on that, please? The one my brother had was a 4-door. Yeah, so this the Plymouth Satellite. Yeah, so the story on this car, I'm going to do a separate run on it, but the story on this car was that, just to do a quick one, my brother bought it off of a guy that was actually he was the trainer for Lennox Lewis, and his name was Mr. Knight, and Mr. Knight, that's where Kyle was able to buy the car from him for a reasonable price. And my dad drove the car down the track later on, down in years. It was a nice car. I forgot who they sold it to, but it had a 318 in there. I think it's a 319. Yeah, so here we go. Without further ado, let's hear some stuff about this.
The 1969 Dodge Plymouth Satellite 4-door sedan was a stylish, practical B-body classic that blended Mopar muscle DNA with everyday drivability. It shared its platform with legends like the Roadrunner and Charger, but stood out as a more understated, family-friendly cruiser. Here's a deep dive into what made the 69 Satellite sedan special. Overview: 1969 Plymouth Satellite 4-door sedan. Model year 1969. Make Plymouth Dodge's sister brand under Chrysler. Body style, 4-door sedan, also available as 2-door hardtop, convertible, and wagon. Platform, Chrysler B-body. Satellite was an upscale version of the Belvedere. Engine, displacement, horsepower notes. 225 slant 6, 3.7 liter, 225 QN, 145 HP. Base engine reliably and fuel efficient. 318 V8, 5.2 liter, 318 QN, 230 HP. Most common V8, smooth and torquey. 383 V8, 6.3 liter, 383 QN, 290, 330 HP. High performance option. 426 Hemi V8, 7.0L, 426 QN, 425 HP. Rare and legendary, most in two-door models. Transmission options: 3-speed manual, 4-speed manual, or 3-speed choke flight automatic. Dimensions and specs: length over 203 inches, curb weight over 3,300 to 3,500 pounds, wheelbase under 17 inches, price new around 2,700 to 3,300 depending on trim and options. Features and design: exterior clean, squared off lines with the wide grille and quad headlights. Interior bench seats front and rear, optional AC, AM radio, and full instrumentation. Suspension: torsion bar front, leaf spring rear, classic mobile ride. Brakes: drum brake standard, front discs optional. Legacy and appeal: the four-door Satellite wasn't a muscle car per se, but it shared the DNA of the Road Runner and GTX. Today, it's a rare sight at car shows, especially in original condition, and a great sleeper for resto mods or family cruisers. It's remembered fondly for its reliability, roomy interior, and classic Mopar styling. If your brother had one, he was riding in a piece of Mopar history. A car that balanced muscle car cool with everyday practicality. Want to explore restoration tips, parts availability, or how compares the Charger Corvette? Let's keep the nostalgia rolling.
All right, so yeah, that was a decent car as well. So family had a little bit of Mopar blood in them. Shout out to that. So I don't really have any other cars that distinguishes from the rest, but I'm going to look through this book real quick. Going on this little marathon trip in the 1960s. I got one. Hold on. This one is the Ford Falcon. I forgot the year, but I had the opportunity to buy a Ford Falcon from someone. But anyway, that's basically his favorite car. That's all he restores. So these cars are actually really cool because they have, I don't know, what's the largest, let's find out, what's the largest size motor that the Ford Falcon had in the best year that people sought after this car. Let's find that out. What is the best year of the Ford Falcon, the one car that people sought after, and why? Yeah, so welcome again to Hot Rods and Horsepower. This is a nice little marathon where we're just trying to run these numbers up for, watch hours. Not much to watch, but a lot to listen to. It's kind of like a podcast, so you'll pick up a lot of information if you enjoy learning as you go. Here we go. This is the Ford Falcon.
The most sought-after Ford Falcon in the U.S. is widely considered to be the 1963 Ford Falcon Sprint, especially the hardtop and convertible models. This was the first Falcon to offer a V8 engine and a sportier image, and it directly paved the way for the birth of the Ford Mustang. Let's take a look at the reasons why. First V8 Falcon, it introduced the 260 cubic inch 4.3-liter V8, making it the first Falcon with real muscle under the hood. Sporty styling. The 1963 Sprint was a mid-year release with a sleeker hardtop roofline, bucket seats, and a floor-mounted shifter, a big departure from the economy car image. Mustang DNA. This model laid the mechanical groundwork for the 1964 Mustang, sharing its chassis and drivetrain. Collectors love it for its historical significance. Limited production. Only about 10,479 Sprint hardtops and 4,602 convertibles were made, making them relatively rare and desirable today. Other notable Falcon years, year highlight, why matters, was 1960. First model year, hugely popular compact car, sold over 435,000 units. 1964, full redesign, sharper styling, better handling, and more Mustang influence. 1970 and a half, final U.S. Falcon, rare and transitional model based on the Torino platform. Bonus, the Australian Falcon legend. If you're talking Australian Falcons, the 1971 to 1972 XY Falcon GTH Phase 3 is the holy grail. It was the world's fastest four-door production car at the time and is now one of the most valuable all-seat muscle cars ever built. Would you like to compare the Falcon Sprint to early Mustangs or dive into the Australian Falcon legacy? I can also help you find one for sale or restored builds if you're feeling nostalgic.
All right, so that's it. So basically, it sounds to me like, I don't know what year it was, 1960, 1964, and 1970. Yeah, those were the ones, it says. We love them all, though. I do. I really do love Ford Falcons. So, yeah, I think that's going to be it for now. Pretty hot car for, it's a small car, but with a large motor in it, a large engine. I think that's pretty hot, So I took y'all into the 1960s where, where bigger was better, to be honest. And even the small cars had big motors in them, big engines, you know. Cars were made out of steel back then. They weren't made out of fiberglass. They weighed heavier, but they had big engines to carry them. It sounded like to me that real quick, it did sound like to me that what was it? The Dodge Satellite, it was only a 3-speed transmission. That was kind of interesting, A lot of straight bodies in the 60s with the round lights. When I say a lot, I mean the majority of them were. I know in 1969 you had that flare with the there was a flare in the back with the Plymouth Satellite. Maybe I'm not sure, come to think about it. A lot of these bodies are straight. Okay, once we start getting into 67, things start changing. 67 and 68. Cadillac is a super hot car back then. Dodge kept the body pretty straight. It has a little bit on it, but it's still pretty straight, even in 67. Cobra, no. We know Cobras are in classes all by themselves. Cobra, Shelby, 427. And that car back in 1965, it came with a 427 and it had 345 to 425 horsepower. That car is a beast. Another one of my favorites is the AMC. I do like small cars with, with big engines in them. The AMC Marlin, 1968. Yeah, it had a 390. 390 V8 with 315 horsepower. What is that? 2326 was standard. I don't really know. That might be the 6-pack. But, so, we have the Wildcat is a really cool looking car too. Love the Wildcat, 1968. All right, but anyway, on that note, y'all, thank you for listening. I got more coming. Continuously, be on the lookout because there's going to be a lot of information out here. Good pictures, videos, but a lot of information. A lot of information. So thank you and peace.